Hello students, welcome back to the video lecture on computer organization. In the previous lecture, I explained about the different parts of computer. So, computer will be operational if all these parts are connected. Okay. Now let's look at the way in which these are connected. Yes, here you can see. See. So different parts of a computer can be connected or different devices can be connected. There are many ways of doing this connection. The simplest and the common way is discussed in this video. How we can connect them? We can connect the different parts of a computer or different units of a computer or different devices to the computer by making use of bus. Okay, what this bus is? Bus is used to connect the different parts of a computer, right? So what is this bus? Bus is a group of lines that serve as a connecting path for several devices. It acts as a connecting path for several devices. Okay. Figure in the slide shows the simplest way to interconnect the functional units of the computer. Okay, this is a single bus structure. What you can look at in the slide, you can look at single bus structure. So what is happening here? Here you can see a single bus, only one bus is used to connect input, to connect output unit, memory unit and processor unit. As only one bus is connecting all these units. See, you can see only one bus. Okay, some group of lines are there with two ways arrow. You can look at here having some group of lines. Okay, a bar is there, that is a bus. This single bus is connected to input device, output device, memory and processor. As only one bus is there, only one transfer is possible at a time. What it means? Only two devices or two units can be active at a time. See, input unit may be active with output or memory or processor. Say, only two units can be or two devices can be active at a time. For example, consider input unit and memory unit. Input unit, if input unit is inputting the data and storing it in memory, that can be done by using the bus. At that time, output unit cannot do anything or processor cannot do anything because the bus which is connecting the output unit, processor, input unit and memory is the same. That's why one function is under process. Which function? Inputting of the data is there and storing is done in memory. That's why two units are active, input unit and memory unit are active. Or you can consider memory and output unit. From memory, some data you want to output, you want to take out, printing, isn't it? Printing if you are doing. So something in the memory is getting to be printed out. At that time, input unit and processor can't do anything. Or maybe memory and processor may be active. So some operation is going on in between memory and the processor. At that time, inputting can't be done, outputting can't be done. Okay. So as it is making use of single bus, only two units can be active and only one transfer is possible at a time. Okay. The advantage of using a single bus structure is its low cost and flexibility. The bus is flexible. Why? We can attach different peripheral devices. Very easily we can attach the peripheral devices. We can connect different units of a computer using two buses, three buses or multiple buses. You can see here, I'll just show you. Sorry, slides are not moving. Yes, see, you can look at here. I am making use of two buses. Two buses are there. To both of the buses, I am connecting input device, output device, memory and the processor. Okay. Likewise, I can have three buses. I can have multiple buses. Therein, what can be achieved? Okay. I can have using two buses, I can have two transfers at one time. If input and memory are busy, output and processor can be busy on the other bus, isn't it? So if the system contains multiple buses, then two or more transfers can be carried out at a single time. Thus it will improve the performance of a computer. Yes, it is definitely improving the performance of a computer. But what happens to the cost? Cost will increase, isn't it? Cost will also increase. Depending on the number of buses what I have used, the size of the motherboard will increase, and that's why the cost of it also will increase. So depending on the application where we are using, we can decide to have whether single bus or multiple bus structure. Okay, so all the devices which are connected to the bus, maybe using single bus or multiple bus, all the devices which are connected to the bus, they vary in their speed. For example, keyboard. Okay, input device may be keyboard, isn't it? Output device may be printer. Okay, so keyboard, printer, etc. are slow devices. Or the speed of the keyboard depends on the user who is typing that key. The typing speed of the user will rectify what? The keyboard speed. Yes, printer again is a slow device. Okay, so others such as magnetic disk, optical disk, so other devices as magnetic disk and optical disk are faster devices. Faster, they are not fastest, they are faster than the prior one, that is keyboards and printers. But memory and processor which are connected to the bus, these are the fastest devices which are connected because they operate at electronic speeds. So all the devices are having different speeds. What I can say is all the devices or all the units which are connected to the bus are having different speeds. See, as all these must communicate, all of these has to communicate with each other, isn't it? An efficient transfer mechanism is to be used to smooth out the difference in the timing of the devices. We should have an efficient transfer mechanism. Why? Memory is or processor is sending the data to the output device continuously if it is sending, because processor is working at electronic speeds. Is my output so much faster to accept all the data? No, some data may be lost, isn't it? So I need to have some efficient transfer mechanism. Why? Yes, in order to smooth out the differences in the timings of the devices. So the most common approach is to use the buffer registers. Here buffer registers are used to store the data in each of the units. Assume if we are printing the characters. Here encoded characters are to be sent by the processor and the printer has to print them. The processor is a fast device and is working at an electronic speed, but printer is a slow device. So what happens? Printer can lose some of the characters which are sent by the processor. Hence we need to buffer registers. If we have buffer registers, then what happens? The printer will be having the buffer register and it will be working at electronic speed. The buffer within the printer is working at electronic speed. Now what happens? What all is sent by the processor will be go on storing in the printer. Now when printer goes on sending the characters, the registers will store all the characters which are sent by the processor. Okay, so the buffer becomes full. When it becomes fully loaded, printer will start printing. Now the bus and the processor are not required. The processor has already sent whatever it wants to print and all that is stored in the buffer register of the printer. Processor is now free, right? And printer by its own taking the content from the buffer register, it is printing. Is it making use of the bus now? No. Already using the bus, the processor has sent the data which has to be printed and it's already stored in the buffer register of the printer. Now the bus and the processors are not required by the printer for data transfer, right? So thus it is preventing the high speed processor being locked to slow device. Without the buffer registers, the processor, even though it is sending fast, it has to wait until all the things are printed, as it is a slow device because it is through bus. Now what we did is we have used a buffer register in all the devices which are connected to the bus, and when the processor wants to send the data or print the data, it will send immediately at its own speed. All those are stored at the same speed in the buffer register of the printer. Now printer will start printing from its own content, not from the processor or through the bus. Thus it is freeing the processor, it is freeing the bus so that it can be used for some other operation. Okay, so this is how we are preventing high speed processor being locked to slow device. Okay, thank you.